Can you have an RV in the village of Antwerp? That is the question I'm going to answer today using the code in our Antwerp zoning book. I want to bring this up because the town is in particular attempting to go after people who have RVs in their driveways. Let us look and break down the rule to see if you're in violation or if you're safe. And we're going to answer this question from the perspective of reading the rule for what it actually says, and not just what people have told us, or what we think it might say, or what it should say, or how it might apply to our neighbor. I want to show you what the rule actually says. I am Bryce Steiner, and I am an elected official for the Village of Antwerp. However, I am not speaking in the capacity, nor am I representing the Village of Antwerp. The views are contrary to the current administration, and so I want to be clear. I myself have received notices that I am not allowed to have this in the Village of Antwerp in my driveway. And then I also received a fine for this. So you, as a potential owner of a recreational vehicle of any kind, such as a boat, boat trailer, RV, fifth wheel, any such thing as that, this could apply to. The Zoning Board of Appeals, in their last meeting, made a suggestion that they might be starting to go after other people and not just Bryce Steiner. What does the rule actually say? Well, we're going to read it. The entire text says, 906, parking and storage of certain vehicles. Automotive vehicles or trailers of any kind or type without current license plates shall not be parked or stored on any residentially zoned property other than in completely enclosed buildings. However, one boat and one travel trailer may be stored in the rear yard if they have a current license. The first thing to note is that it never mentions front yard, nor does it mention driveway.
Bryce, I think when it comes down to it, doesn't matter if anybody's living in your trailer or not. It's in your driveway in the front yard. It's not supposed to be.
If anyone says such a thing, then they are either uninformed about what the rule actually says, or maybe they are repeating what a third-party interpretation has told them. That is why we want to see exactly what it says, and we're going to break down this rule. What is the subject? Automotive vehicles or trailers of any kind or type. So let's make a graph of what the rule is saying, because I believe visuals make it much easier to comprehend. In the sentence, anything that applies to trailers also applies to automotive vehicles. So you see that they are held together with a conjunction or. If it applies to campers, it applies to automotive vehicles and vice versa. The next part of the sentence says, without current license plates. In other words, if your automotive vehicle or trailer of any kind has a current license plate, then the rest of the sentence does not apply to your vehicle. All of this applies only to vehicles that do not have current license plates. And the rest of the sentence, shall not be parked or stored on any residentially zoned property other than in completely enclosed buildings. This sentence says exactly what the people who wrote it intended. And that is, any unlicensed vehicle can still be on the property, but it needs to be in a building. That is why your mower might be stored inside of a building. It's not licensed. Any motor vehicle that is not licensed or not currently licensed has to be inside of a building. That is what it is saying, and that is what we are going to add onto the chart. We have two on there now, and that is licensed and unlicensed. And on the top two columns, we have automotive vehicles and trailers of any and all kinds. There is an addendum with the next sentence. Let's see what it says. and break that sentence down to make it easier to understand. It reads, however, one boat and one travel trailer may be stored in the rear of the yard if they have a current license. This addendum says that in addition to having your boat or RV stored wherever you choose, on your own property of course, it gives permission to also store it in the backyard. Licensed boats and trailers are not restricted to only the backyard, but only boats and trailers are given specific approval in all places. So let me say that one again. Licensed boats and trailers are not restricted to only the backyard, but only boats and trailers are given specific approval for backyards. This 906 rule has nothing to do with being able to store the vehicle in the drive, front yard, side yard, backyard, etc. This rule is specific about whether your parked vehicle carries a license that is current. If the town interpretation is true, and you are not allowed to have a trailer, licensed or unlicensed, in the driveway or front yard, then automotive vehicles are not allowed to be stored in the driveway or front yard either, because whatever applies to the trailer in the first sentence also applies to all motor vehicles. The two subjects are only separated by a conjunction, meaning the following words applies to both subjects. I don't see the town officials going after people for storing their vehicles in their driveway. The automobile is always in the driveway. I don't think that's going to happen based upon that interpretation. But if they do go after trailers, they would also have to go after automobiles, because that is what the rule actually states. I believe that if the town decides to enforce a view that is not consistent with the rule, it will backfire on them. This is only the breakdown of this one rule. Setbacks and other rules would still apply if applicable. That is not the view of the current administration of the town, but this is what the rule actually says. This is my reading only, and if you have any questions, you should consult your own attorney. I am not your attorney, and I am not giving you legal advice. However, I do want you to be aware that this could be coming up for you.